Hello, sixth grade. This is your Unit 4 review. So the top page that you received is just a self-reflection. You're just basically trying to decide what you feel comfortable with, what you don't feel comfortable with, and then deciding, what you need to learn more about. All right. The second page here, then, we start with our vocabulary terms. I've gone ahead and defined each of them for you. Equivalent ratios are ratios that represent the same relationship or proportion between two quantities, even though they use different numbers. So they look the same, they look different, but they are the same. Per, another way of saying that is for each, for every, or for a single unit. It signifies a rate, ratio, or proportion, and acts as a signal for division, where the first quantity is divided by the second quantity to find your unit rate. Percent, I just included this one because it's part of the vocabulary. Per 100 or out of 1,000, 100, oh goodness, excuse me guys. Rate is a specific type of ratio that compares two quantities measured in different units. So miles per hour, that would be a rate. Ratio, a comparison of two or more quantities by division, indicating how they relate to each other. Unit rate, a specific type of rate that compares two different measurements where the second measurement is exactly one. So, like the rate that we talked about earlier, miles per gallon, miles per hour, it's always per one unit of measurement. Justify, to provide logical evidence, reasons, or steps that prove why a method, answer, or assertion is correct. Relationship defines how two different quantities or variables are linked together, showing a constant rate of change per one unit. So, what's the relationship for driving your car? It's how many miles per gallon that you're driving, or how many miles per hour. So, the relationship between those two items. Survey, you don't have to worry about this one too much. A method of data collection used to gather information from a group of people by asking questions or conducting polls to understand behaviors, opinions, or characteristics. So using those terms, now we'll go ahead and answer these questions. So we're using the table of equivalent ratios to answer questions 1A through 1C, and we're using vocabulary from up top. So how can you describe the relationship between 10 to 2 and 5 to 1 using these? The easiest way to explain it is they are equivalent ratios. How are the ratios of 5 to 1 and 1 to 1/5 different from other ratios in the table? One way to explain them is they are rates because we have these single ones. What do the numbers 5 and 1/5 represent in the the ratio relationship between miles and hours? Those are specifically the unit rates. Oops, sorry. Talking and writing at the same time. They are. The town of Newburgh has 1,200 students. The blue squares on the Huntress grid represent students who walk to school. The white squares represent students who take the bus. Okay, so these are walk. This is bus. Use at least 2 math or academic vocabulary terms to describe the grid. Underline each term we use. Okay, so the grid, using words up here, is showing a relationship. Of student walkers and student bus riders. Let's see, how many do we need? At least 2, okay. The ratio of walkers to riders is 45 to 55. Okay. We could simplify that, dividing each one by 5, so we'd have 9 to 11. So we could talk about equivalent ratios. We could say there's 45 walkers per 55 bus riders. There's a lot of different ways that you could write that. As I was writing the other answer key, I noticed that I missed a question to eliminate, so please skip number 2. You do not have to do that one. You can if you want, but you do not have to. All right, question 1. Andrew buys 24 ounces of green beans at the grocery store. The beans cost $1.90 per pound. How much will Andrew pay for the beans? So I'm gonna do $1.90 per 1 pound. And then we need to convert that because we have ounces here and pounds here. So I'm going to change that to $1.90 for 16 ounces. So I'm trying to figure out how much I'm paying for 24 ounces. So I need to figure out what I'm multiplying by to get from 16 to 24. So this is essentially 1.5. So then I also need to multiply 1.5 times $1.90. And I am eliminating that 0 because I don't need it right now. So this becomes 45, 9, 0, 9, 1. So I'm paying $2.84 for 24 ounces of green beans. Okay, so again, we're skipping number 2. Down to number 3. A website sells 2 brands of face paint. Brand A costs $3 for 4 fluid ounces, so I have a 3 to 4 ratio. Brand B is $7 for every 10 fluid ounces. How much per ounce does brand A cost, and how much per ounce does brand B cost? So basically what you're doing is you're dividing it by the number of ounces to figure out what that 1 ounce is. So I have 3 to 4 and 7 to 10. So for here, my ounces is 4. So I'm going to divide both by 4. So this becomes 3/4 to 1. And then changing that, it's going to be 75 cents to 1 ounce. For brand B, I'm dividing by 10, because that's the number of ounces. So this becomes 7/10 to 1, or 0.70 to 1. So brand B is the better buy because it's less expensive per ounce. All right, number 4. A package contains 20 golf balls. The total weight of the golf balls is 32 ounces. Use the table to show the number of ounces per golf ball and the number of golf balls per ounce. Write your answers in the table. So right now, our ratio is 20 to 32. So this is golf balls, and this is ounces. So to figure out how many golf balls per ounce and ounces per golf balls, we need to divide both of these by the opposite. So 20 to 32, if I divide both of those by 20, that's going to give me how many ounces per golf ball. So this comes out to be 1 golf ball to 1.6 ounces. And then if I do this becomes 0.625 to 1. So I have golf balls per ounce and ounces per golf ball. So this 0.625 goes in there and 1.6 goes there. Okay, so if I'm trying to find how many golf balls per ounce, I divide both of them by 20. So that's where the 1.6 comes in. And if I'm trying to find the number of ounces per golf ball, so this is golf balls per ounce, and this is ounces per golf ball. Okay. All right. A snail takes 24 minutes to travel 5 feet. At this rate, how many inches does a snail travel every hour? So we have minutes in feet and inches in hours. So our original rate is 24 minutes is 5 feet. So the way that I did this was I first changed the feet to inches. So I have 24 minutes. 5 times 12 is 60. So I have 24 minutes so he's traveling 24. For 24 minutes, he's traveled 60 inches. And then this doesn't really go well to hours. So I divided both of these by 6. So 24 divided by 6 is 4. 60 divided by 6 is 10. So for every 4 minutes, he's traveling 10 inches. So now I can multiply this times a value to get to 60. So I have 4 to 10. I'm going to multiply both of these by 15. 4 times 15 is 60. So there's my 1 hour. And then 10 times 15 is 150. So that's my inches. So I'm traveling 150 inches in 60. 150 is an option. All right, number 6. Brian and Steve want to compare the prices of their favorite cereals to determine which is less expensive. The table below shows the price of each box of cereal and the number of ounces in each box. So we have Brian's cereal is 1.5 pounds and it's $3.84. Steve's cereal is 32 ounces and it's $4.48. So we're trying to find the price per ounce. So you're going to divide the price divided by the weight. So if you notice, I have pounds and ounces. Those are two different measurements. So I'm going to change the 1.5 pounds to ounces. So that becomes 24 ounces. So then you're going to do 3.84 divided by 24, and that gives you 0.16, so it's 16 cents per ounce. And then 4.48 divided by 32, which gives you 0.14. Okay, so we completed the table. I'm just going to write C above. Whose cereal is less expensive? Steve's cereal is less expensive per ounce based on finding the unit rate of price per ounce, where Brian's cereal is 16 cents per ounce and Steve's cereal is 14 cents per ounce. All right, there is your review. Please let me know what questions you have. Make sure to bring these back on the day of your test to use them from, and let me know what questions you have. Have a great day. Bye.